at the Little Penis That Could podcast and the cartoon series. We are crazy about democracy. This brilliant edited Coinbase commercial and our shows are meant to inspire the next generations of world leaders. Bon appetit. Stay hungry, my friends, and share the peanuts.
It's called a bicycle, but will anybody ride it?
The automobile is here, but horses are here to stay.
Elevator? What's wrong with using the stair?
A telephone? Who would actually use that?
People said it was not possible to fly through the air.
It's unclear if commercial air travel will ever take off.
Flying over the Atlantic. Impossible.
I give you a go to launch, Artemis 1.
We're on our way, Houston. Do we really need personal computers? I mean, come on, who's gonna carry a computer? No
Never.
way.
No way.
Who would actually use that?
A so-called information superhighway.
I'll never shop online.
Credit cards on the
Yeah,
internet?
the web is full of scams.
Come on, electric vehicles will never happen.
You can't have a nation without land and borders. Who will they even represent? How could an international online nation possibly become powerful or influential?
Buongiorno. Do current world situations find you clenching your sphincter tighter than a skeeter's ass in a nosedive? At the Little Peanuts That Could, the podcast and the cartoon series, we think we have the answers and solutions to protecting and saving world democracies and our climate, and thus relaxing your uptight sphincter. Welcome to the relaunch of the Little Penis That Could podcast and cartoon series, including our sketch called Between the Two Peanuts, with my Swami, Ashfaq. We're currently relaunching our first 10 shows, plus the best of Swami Ashfaq's quotes, and the best of our funniest and hardest-hitting commercials.
And now the best breaking and broken news segments in the industry.
Breaking news, folks. It turns out that Christians and the Bible are correct. All 100% of sapiens, also known as homos, are descendants of Eve, mitochondrial Eve from Africa. That means 100% of us, the world's population, we're not only homos, but we're all colored people. A joint worldwide study by National Geographic and the Bit Penis Institute, the Bartali Institutes of Truth and Tasty Peanuts, have released a monumental and a somewhat pliant yet remarkably firm study to impregnate your minds. This remarkable study proves we are all colored people because we are all genetic offspring to an African woman named Eve, who seemingly enjoyed the bumping uglies a lot. Now what this means is that the Bible was likely correct, except it missed the date she was created by about 200,000 years, and for some reason the color brown was seemingly missing in earlier depictions of Jesus. And now, on to the next segment of our show. Broken news, folks. The budget balancing GOP cuts $2 billion from wokey Democrats' budget so as to prevent the wokies from generating $200 billion to reduce the deficit. In a move similar to a bank robber anally raping the bank manager while proclaiming a dislike for anal sex, while robbing the bank and then telling the bank manager to tell all of their customers who will lose their money that this is all really best for them. The GOP just cut $2 billion in funding to the IRS, $2 billion that would have generated $200 billion from the wealthy who are raping America. Who knows? Maybe next they'll announce their desire for small government while telling 10-year-old girls who were raped that their small government will imprison them unless they and their families agree to jointly raise their child of God with their rapist.
All penis characters and events are from my dreams, even those based on real people. All are impersonated poorly and are thus fictional. Do not permit our pot to come into your ears if you are allergic to the penis, as various illnesses, including death, may occur. The following programs should not be heard or viewed by anyone. And now another one of our great commercials.
As gorgeous George Clooney's little penis frolics around your screen. Relax, breathe deeply, and listen to each word carefully. I am Swami Ashfaq of the Church of the Untethered and Tasty Penis, the sanctuary of the men and women who stare at penis. If you seek the truth about saving world democracy and why gorgeous George Clooney's audaciously tasty little penis is bouncing around on your screen, repeat after me. Tasty penis. Stay hungry, my friends, and share the penis.
In today's show, we would like to share and discuss a possibly disturbing piece of video art that had a profound effect on me, Dr. Gino. The reason why we share such a potentially disturbing art video with the upbeat music Aces High Funk by Kevin MacLeod is because we at the Little Penis That Could podcast and the cartoon series believe in the power of a funk and the positivities to overcome the challenges that we face. Now, for those of you listening to our podcast, we are watching a large mechanical arm in an enclosed room with a squeegee on the end of the arm. This machine is leaking the very hydraulic fluid that it requires to operate, to live. This fluid, its blood, spills out onto the floor while it squeegees the fluid, its blood, back into itself to stay alive. Now, when I watched this, I imagined the leaking fluid as freedom and democracy's blood, and that our current machines, our governments, economies, and societies were failing as they continued to bleed. In some ways, I felt that I might be watching freedom and democracy die. I know that I'm not the only one who feels this way. Here are some thoughts of others who seem to share this view.
Charles, I'd like to begin with you in the threats to democracy discussion about what you saw in that Trump QAnon gathering and the threat to democracy represented there.
Well, the idea that, half, I always say half when I say Republican Party, it's not really half, and now is drifting closer to accepting more of the QAnon conspiracy theories is a danger. I mean, we'd only have two political parties in America. We have two. And if one of them is behaving in this way, believing the things that Republicans now say that they believe, you can't describe that as anything other than a threat, and a very serious one.
When the country is up against rising authoritarianism and election denialism and extremist ultra-right groups that are willing to use violence against everyone else to get their way, those are crimes. And there definitely is a role for the courts and for the prison system, right? But there's also a really important role for everything else, for a whole of society response. When it comes to threatening force as the way of seizing power here, there is not only room, there is a necessity for a whole of society response, for everybody to do something, for activism, for journalism, for political organizing to keep those folks away from real power.
It's as if I'm going to wake up tomorrow morning in Bedford Falls. The reality is, though, I will wake up tomorrow in the America of the year 2021, a nation unrecognizable to those who came before us and fought to protect it, which is what you must do now.
Now, here at the Little Peanuts That Could, the podcast and the cartoon series, we believe in the lessons taught by famous futurists, Buckminster Fuller, when he urged, "You don't change things from within. To change something, build a new model that makes the previous model obsolete." Now, in our eyes, it seems that we need a new machine, new models of democracy, and we propose international, online, Socratically democratic nations, ion nations, as a way to force our failing models to meet our needs. Now, we know that many of you may question, not comprehend, or even be interested in being the leaders of the new models needed to save freedom and democracy. But we also know that throughout history there has always been innovators and leaders who rise to the challenges that they face. We would like to share the following Coinbase commercial, not as an advertisement for Coinbase, but rather as inspiration for the world's next leaders of democracy, human rights, and freedom all across the world. Buon appetito, my friends.
It's called a bicycle, but will anybody ride it?
The automobile is here, but horses are here to stay.
Elevator? What's wrong with using the stair?
A telephone? Who would actually use that?
People said it was not possible to fly through the air.
It's unclear if commercial air travel will ever take off.
Flying over the Atlantic. Impossible.
I give you a go to launch, Artemis 1.
We're on our way, Houston. Do we really need personal computers? I mean, come on, who's going to carry a computer? No way.
No way. Who would actually use that?
A so-called information superhighway.
Y2K. Shop online.
Credit cards on the
Yeah,
internet?
the web is full of scams.
Come on, electric vehicles will never happen.
You can't have a nation without land and borders. Who will they even represent? How could an international online nation possibly become powerful or influential? And now another one of our great commercials.
Howdy, folks. Governor Stonewall Young Kent, a.k.a. the Virginian of Virginia, where I'm riding herd on every Virginian, with and without a Virginian. I'm the man responsible for the Virginia is for Breeders campaign. Now, folks, I thought that campaign would rise me to the presidency.
Faster than Pastor Paul's vanilla fudge chucker rises at our pole dancing contest.
But now we got some problem. School shootings. And I prayed about it. And just as I did my grandson, Stonewall the 7th, he done fired off a clip from old Custard Guts here, and he damn near killed me. It was a message. God wanted me to launch the Snipers in Diapers, assault weapons training, and a Bible study.
Christian Kids Camp. Y'all best butter your biscuit and call me a butthole, 'cause there's a new sheriff in town.
Y'all come back now, yeah?
And now,
this week's letter to prank gorgeous George Clooney's into selling his tasty little peanuts for charity and to save world democracy will be read through Maharishi Brad from the Church of the Untethered and the Tasty Peanuts. Buon appetito.
Buongiorno, gorgeous. It is I, Maharishi Brad, speaking to you as Dr. Gino. Or it is I, Dr. Gino, speaking to you as Maharishi Brad. Or perhaps it is someone you pranked in the past. Anyone. Whoever it is, we have now aligned with the lovers of democracy from all across the world. And we have chosen you, Gorgeous, as the man who will be known from this day forward by his Native American name, Di Buon Gusto Eric Edie, he who walks with tasty peanuts. Soon, Gorgeous, soon you shall acquiesce to forever being known as the man who sold his tasty little peanuts for charities and to save world democracy. Soon, your friends and all you have ever pranked, they shall share with the world all of the attributes and the flavors of your tasty little penis. It is at this moment that you, Gorgeous, Di Buon Gusto, Eric, Edie, he who walks with tasty penis. At this moment, right now, you just realized that you may never know who has pranked you into leading a worldwide discussion about all of the different ways to work together and how to save world democracies. You shall never know, or may never know, who accomplished this while funding justice all across the world with the sale of your tasty little penis. Stay hungry, my friend, and share the penis. Ciao, Bella.
And now, one of our great commercials about us, the Little Peanuts That Could, the podcast and the cartoon series, and our prank or plan to get millions of you all across the world to unite online for democracy, climate, women's rights, human rights, racial and LGBTQ rights, and the right of young people all across the world to actually be active effing participants in our world's economies, societies, and governments. Oh, and while we're at it, let's all unite and apply the needed economic, social, and political pressures to bring an end to the war in Ukraine. I mean, isn't that the very basic, decent, pro-democratic thing that all of us should feel compelled to do? To unite online and thank Ukraine as we help them by ending their war and using their nation and others across the world to relaunch our modern world in a new democratic direction. Look, we're dead serious. We hope you'll join us, and let's all do this by pranking Gorgeous George Clooney's into selling his tasty little penis for charities and to save the world. Buon appetito, Brad Pitt.
Buongiorno. Do world events have you concerned? Do you find yourself clenching your sphincter tighter than a skeeter's ass in a nosedive? My name is Dr. Gino Bartale, and this is my Swami, Ashafak. Visit the Little Penis That Could, the podcast and the cartoon series, and catch our new shows every Thursday, where we think we can funk up democracies. Before we exit, some of you may be questioning our desires to create socially beneficial economic models and businesses that are monopolistic so as to mandate maximum value to us as the proprietors and consumers of these businesses and marketplaces in a world of international, online, Socratic, democratic nations. Ion nations. Perhaps my Swami, Ashfaq, can enlighten us all in his show segment, Ruminations, or Chewings of the Pod, with Swami Ashafaq.
Socrates said, the secret of change is to focus all of your energy not on fighting the old, but on building the new. At the Church of the Untethered and Tasty Peanuts, we say, in order to change directions, one must point their penis where they wish to go. Join us next week and please consider our Patreon. Stay hungry, my friends, and share the penis.
If you enjoy our shows and mission, please support our Patreon. Grazie.